All right, so this is going to be another comic review, and this is one of a book I have. This is one I got at MegaCon, but I never really had the chance to just sit down and read it. So I just, one day, a few days ago, I was just like, I'm going to do this. Not to say I'm not reading any of the books Chris sends me. It's just that I wanted to have a change of pace because this was sitting on my in the bookshelf, and I was just like, you know what? I wanted to read this, and I've never had a chance to, so I'm going to do that. And that is Hellboy, The Bones of Giants. For those who don't know, I am a massive fan of the Hellboy franchise. Like, 100% love the Hellboy franchise. Everyone has, like, what I've kind of noticed, and I'm going to go into a bit of a tangent if you don't mind, everyone has a favorite indie character. Like, one they all like. This is what I've seen with a lot of comic book fans, is that there's always like one, everyone has like their favorite, like a whole list of Marvel and DC superheroes they really love, but everyone just seems to gravitate towards only one indie character. Like, that's really what it is that they kind of drift towards only one indie character out of all of them. That's the whole thing. Is that, you know, you could have like a top 10 favorite Marvel or top 10 favorite DC superheroes or whatever, or what have you. But for the most part, everyone just goes, that's my indie character. And Hellboy is mine. Like out of all the, and don't get me wrong, I love a lot of independent comics. But Hellboy is like the top of the pyramid for me. I know a lot of people will say like Spawn is their all-time favorite, or Invincible, or Cassie Hack from Hack Slash, or Judge Dredd, which, by the way, I do want to read more Judge Dredd comics. As much as I've always wanted to read more, like, Judge Dredd is a character I always enjoy, but I have dick all when it comes to Judge Dredd comics. I think I need to change that. But yeah, Hellboy's my favorite indie. So yeah, so what is this comic about? Now that we're like 2 minutes into the review, this comic is basically, it's a pretty, like, I could actually recommend this for if you want to read Hellboy comics. Yeah. If you want to read Hellboy comics, I would say this is a good start. The only thing, though, it does tie into a early Hellboy short story. But basically, it's Hellboy with versus Norse monsters. That's what it is in a nutshell. Basically, what happens is that Hellboy and Abe are sent to Norway to investigate a dead body. But not just any dead body, it is the corpse of Thor. Yeah, Thor isn't owned by Marvel. He's a public domain character. So Thor's body's been found and Mjolnir has been left behind. It calls to Hellboy, and Hellboy picks it up, and it can't let go. So now Thor's spirit lives in Hellboy. And on top of that, it's also been revealed that the King of Giants theme, or Thyme, I can't pronounce it, is waking up and releasing the giants again. Yeah, so this is a fun story. So Hellboy mixed with Norse mythology is always going to tickle my pickle. Yeah, so I really do like. So this is why I always wanted to read it. Like, Hellboy versus Norse monsters, go right ahead. The comic is 4 issues long. I also like this hardcover binding for some reason. But yeah, Hellboy goes on this quest, and like I said, this does tie into a classic Hellboy short story called The Hand of King Vold. And basically, in that story, a friend of Professor Von Braun's, he basically sends Hellboy to help him deal with this spirit called King Vold, but Vold basically screws him over, and that professor, comes back here with a daughter now. And it turns out that guy has not changed because he's the one bringing the giants to life. The comic is pretty action-packed, and I love the deep connections to Thor, to actual Norse mythology, not the comic book Norse mythology. I really, I really like how we get to see all these like Norse monsters and all that, and also I completely forgot that Brock and Eitri from God of War, they're not just characters made for the God of War games. They were actual characters in Norse mythology. I forgot about that. So this book basically reaffirms that. I will say, though, that for 4 issues, there is a bit of a pacing problem, especially one part that really annoyed me. Basically, Hellboy and the dwarves encounter Garm, the wolf. And there's this big moment where like Hellboy with Thor's hammer is like, come on, jumps at him with Brock at his side. And then you cut to the next page, he's like, Wolf's dead, Brock's dead too. Like, literally, that's how it goes, is like, we don't see the final battle between Garm and Hellboy. He's just like, it's dead. And I do feel like the book does kind of rush to the end, but usually Hellboy books do kind of feel like that at some point, I will tragically admit. But still, all in all, I really did enjoy this book. This could easily be like a Hellboy animated film, or like if you want to read Hellboy but don't know where, this would actually not be bad. I mean, Hellboy is one of the most comic-friendly books out there, and I've talked about this with my friend Matt Denian, is that Hellboy could easily be used for, it could easily be a kid-friendly comic. So, yeah. Also, it's spooky season. Can't go wrong with Hellboy during spooky season. So yeah, if you are a Hellboy fan, I would definitely say check it out. But if you're a newcomer or want to read something different, yeah, go check out Hellboy, The Bones of Giants. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this comic review. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.